Welcome to Onivia Highlights. These are the best highlights from the LCK Spring 2025.
I have a ward on the outside of the pit just in case. Canyon decided to drop a ward in to see if he could go for the 50-50. They really did account for everything in this early game. We mentioned the neutralization power of Ornn in this lane, so he already has his Negatron cloak online, so tons of magic resistance already picked up.
2 flashes burned, both AD carries, actually 3 if you include Barrel.
Yeah.
So just really trying to find it. There's a shove finally here onto Showmaker. Going on in is Duro, and we got the ult coming out from the Jin, and that will be the first blood going over to Gen.G.
Ruler with the prediction on the shuffle. From Gen.G will actually guarantee grub control right now. Showmaker does have his ultimate available, but it's not anywhere near.
You're going to put down a wall, just saying do not come in here. It's 6 grubs over to Gen.G already as Showmaker trying to go in onto him, actually. We got the Canyon ult as well as he gets the sweep and barely gets out with his life. Gen.G, they do have to stick around, though, after that play, and Duro will have to pay for it, as he will be the sacrifice.
So Gen.G
could see a 4-on-4 here. Even a 5-on-4, though, because Keen does have teleport advantage on Xiwu, so you see up in the top lane, if you look at the mini-map, Xiwu actually trying to follow him through the jungle and trying to deny the TP from coming through. We'll see if he can do that, but now the engage comes in from Duro. The TP does get off, and DK are just going to get away. They do get away with their lives for now, but now Barrel, he doesn't have his flash, and down he will go. It's an easy pickup here. Another kill for Ruler as well. Duro, another sacrifice from him as he goes to the right instead of just down. And, well, he'll go down.
Yeah, I suppose, but
having the best time, so he's going to need to perform at a very high level to carry his team, whereas Gen.G have a lot of threats, especially this Jin, as now Lucid is getting incredibly low, but Duro also is burning down, and that's a Sinjai. You don't want to engage onto that, and now a big bullet time to force Gen.G away. DK in a pretty good spot, some low health bars, but they're up 5-4.
Maker still has his ult.
Yeah, equalizer in 5, which unfortunately not the best timing for Keen on that one. A 4th shot to come down. He's going to miss, actually. Equalizer is thrown in. A root on Xiwu, but that is an Ornn. And DK get away with the eye and the win in the fight.
Barrel ends up getting Chobi's flash as well at the very tail end of things. It's a 3rd death for Duro, so Dplus already starting to win team fights here. Feeling really good about what that could potentially look like later on in the game, because they had the setup there. And we already talked about the zone controls. This could be a dead rumble. I think it likely will be.
Yeah, he is absolutely dead. I mean, there was a ward on the Krugs. I thought he saw Lucid moving over. Maybe he didn't expect 3 people to be coming over. Either way, it's a mistake. With no flash available, he's dead.
Can hear the roar of those Dplus fans, even though the crowd...
All 4 kills. Lucid has 3 of them. Showmaker has 1. And as Xin Zhao, it's the best jungle on the patch. We also have Azir, which arguably probably the best mid right now. And they're playing it out very well. We haven't seen any, big highlight plays from Showmaker, but he's playing a solid game outside of the 1 death.
The fact that he is there, the fact that he has flash and ult, is his presence alone, his positioning is why Chobi loses his flash there, right? The fact that he's able to with Barrel shot calling, go up there and get that kill onto Keen is part of why they have a gold lead now. Feats of Strength did go over with that bottom turret being taken here by Gen.G. Feats of Strength have been, I don't want to say overrated, but just not as impactful as they were in LCK Cup, let's just say. Still significant, but I don't think Dplus are as worried with the scaling they have, as they're just going to let this Herald crash. And they'll take half the turret.
Yeah, bit of damage, but also pretty big that they did get the Hextech Drake.
They got a turret topside, Gen.G did. And Showmaker's trying to trade for one in the bottom lane. It's very low.
So Canyon's just in there. I'm not really sure how he managed to get that close to Xiwu, but now they're just going to turn on a Duro, looking for the free kill instead. Now DK literally up against a rock and a hard place with the rocks on the ground and the wall on one side, but they just walk away. Gen.G, they don't really have a good angle, and so mostly just disengaging.
It's really cool, though, to see that while Chobi could have just taken a turret and backed away there, he's like, no, I think with the positioning there, with their aggressive siege, I can maybe look for something. As speaking of looking for something, they're looking for Ruler.
And they're going pretty deep for this one. I don't know about this one, Barrel. The turret will go down, but the bullet time nearly going to take out Ruler, but at the end of the day, it is, of course, Barrel who does go down. Now, they did get the mid turret, as we immediately have a pause.
Pull Chobi out, and I think it will be successful. The question is, what happens after Chobi shows up? Because here he comes.
The equalizer is very lackluster. It's only helping them actually kill the Otacon. We do have a wall to come down, but he goes down on the opposite side of that as now they try to go for the turn, as it looks like it will be secured by the Azir of all people, as now they're going super deep. Look at this, Keen immediately going to go down. And DK, they pull it off. Gen.G perhaps not responding on time, and they just got zoned away from the fight. The Voracious Otacon does go the way of DK. Aiming nearly gets withdrawn there. Some low health bars, potential for Gen.G to get some extra gold, but
yeah,
doesn't look like, oh, maybe Shiwu. Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble here. He's going to be knocked back. And the rest of the team, actually, Showmaker going to get the flash out of Ruler, but maybe goes a bit too deep for it as the first shot is going in on aiming. And look at the left side as well. Gen.G are winning that. And DK, you got the Otacon. You pulled off the impossible, but now you pulled off maybe the worst play of the game, as Showmaker is going to sweep away. It might not be a huge deal at the end of the day, as Kenny going to miss both daggers, actually, and not going to get that withdrawal. So they do get it.
It's fine.
By the way, in live, we're fighting for the streak here. Gen.G, they want to go for this one, but Voracious Otacon still up on, it looks like 2 of the members. We have a wall coming down, but that's not going to do all too much. Barrel's just zoning them away. He goes into his ult, and he's like, all right, cool story. We got the dragon. The Showmaker goes in, gets stunned, only catches one, but it's the Jin. It's a massive pick. And now the rest of Gen.G are on the backside, but Toby, a big shove to at least get some of this back here. Lucid has to go into his own ult, as Barrel should be going down here. Keen was fighting against 2 people up on the top side. But now finally maybe DK got something going. Kenyon goes in, but a ton of damage goes his way. And Duro goes back in, and that is going to mean that Chovy picks up another kill here. And Shio is also not very long. Showmaker, what is going on? What are you doing? Oh, he goes back in, and that's going to mean his death. And a shutdown for Chovy's Talia.
You know, 2 plays in a row. I'm very impressed by Dplus. I'm very excited about what they've done. I'm like, wow, you really pulled it off. And then they wanted more, and they should have just been happy with 1 W. They wanted 2, and they got handed 2 L's in return. 1 step forward, 2 steps back on both plays. And the first one was okay because they still got control of the dragon. They still had a few of their Otacon buffs, but this time was just two bridges too far, frankly. And this is going to be Gen.G looking for the Baron. Barrel alone will do nothing against this. Aiming doesn't have his ultimate, even though he's fairly nearby. And game is now Gen.G 4,000 gold lead.
Yeah.
And it looks like in this series, the tragedy came early, Valdez.
Maybe that 2-0 you predicted, Wolf. We'll see how game 2 goes. Or if Gen.G can even close this one out. I think that one was the play that kind of broke this game wide open, as Gen.G now have a significant lead of about 5,000. A 3,000 Red Bull Baron power play. And they're only getting more. I mean, they're just cycling from every lane, bot to mid, and now they're going to look for that top. And Lucid,
chilling.
There's nobody in mid. There's nobody even catching the wave. The whole team is rotating over now because, well, they're not going to hold mid, or top rather. Looking for Keen, and there's just no follow-up on that Ornhorn. The equalizers have been a little bit sus today, Keen. I will say that. So maybe some pressure getting to him, but that's okay. They're still winning. Still winning and still kind of zoning with that, I guess is what you can say. But they still get the inhibitor. They're going to get that top inhibitor turret. Pushing for the second one might be a little bit greedy, but Showmaker doesn't have flash. He does have his ultimate. But you gave up everything else with those 2 hyper-aggressive calls when you already have a comp that scales so well and you got all the tools, all the pieces. Barrel's in trouble. Yeah, Chovy is actually the most ahead out of any player. Barrel just does not want to flash, and he does not want to use his ult, but now he is out of the fight. Even if he lives here, he's just gone, and now his team has to back away. Everybody's getting into a really rough spot. Now the counter engage comes in, but Duro just going to throw his lance into Lucid. Another root comes down, and no crescent guard, so Lucid has to flash. And they're already so far behind in this game.
It's not the best equalizer again there, but it's just again zoning, and this is going to be the first dragon here for Gen.G. It looks like.
At least it hit someone. This time.
And I say first dragon, it's the first Hextech dragon towards Hextech Soul, but they're not even on Soul Point. As here comes the Ornn ultimate.
I mean, they're going to get Chovy. He is a big target. The ult comes down, and Chovy's in a lot of trouble. They get Chovy down, but the fight is still continuing. Duro's going in, trying to save Keen meanwhile, as Ruler has a bit of a front line, but Barrel does a good job of zoning, but not quite good enough. Canyon just running Lucid around the jungle, and now he comes out behind aiming like a jump scare. And now we got a couple of tanks here on the side of DK up against 3 carries on the side of Gen.G. And Gen.G from this far ahead, I think they just have enough money, and they will just plop it on the heads of Lucid and maybe Shu here. As Canyon still on the chase. Meanwhile, Ruler just pushing mid.
Anthony, maybe you died for the first time at Chovy, but I won't. There's no CC to stop this teleport, but that's still a teleport down here. And he will be able to help potentially defend his base if we see Gen.G look for the end. They've got 2 super minions coming through. 10 seconds on Showmaker. I think they'll be happy to take this top inhibitor and then fish for anything else they can find, but they don't have to overextend here. I mean, yes, we are 30.5 minutes into the game. Death timers are long, but it was a bit of a staggered fight.
Into a death cap or a Zhonya, so playing very much the damage game. You know, he was the most fed member, or at least had the biggest lead on his team. Now we got Canyon in a weird spot here. Doesn't have untargetable anymore. Just going to go forward because he can't go anywhere else. A lot of damage done to the outer members. Chovy getting low though as well. Shu not able to do too much with this ult. Finally gets the knock up here on a Chovy, but down goes aiming, and that means that a ton of damage is just gone from this composition. Showmaker's already dead, and so Gen.G kind of just gets to do whatever they want. Lucid, he's so tanky. He's actually quite fed in this game from his first 3 kills, but he can't do it alone in a situation like this. Oh, he's gonna get denied from the kill on the Chovy as well.
He's gonna have his GA by a little bit more time. I mean, they need time here, or else the Nexus is just gonna explode. Like, there's a super minion on the Nexus turrets here. Gen.G know that the respawns are coming through. They have several, and Ruler ultimately still dies, but the fight is lost. Without the carries here, you're just never gonna win this one as Dplus. And Lucid sticks around a little bit this pressure, keeping their Nexus alive. And it's not soul here for Gen.G if they just back up to Dragon. But I mean, still, it's looking pretty doomed. I'm just saying all the positive things about Dplus here that I can. This is my job as a caster, but it's not looking great.
Equalizer here. This is a decent amount of damage, but it's not really used in the fight. Barrel just gonna hit the ground, it looks like. Just trying to tank for the team. Just trying to do something. He gets the knock up in a Canyon, but he goes untargetable. That is Neferi, and this time Lucid doesn't look all that tanky. Not in the face of all that damage. Finally, Showmaker's gonna pull the trigger on the engage. Does get the kill on a Ruler. And Drew getting pretty low, but I think the wallets are just too heavy at this point, and Canyon still has his ult. Gonna go in and finish off what is left of DK, as Shu also gets taken out. It's an ace for Gen.G, and that will be game 1 in their favor.
Heartbreaking loss for Dplus. Such a strong start in this game. They kept it even. They had the critical Otacon take, but they fumbled the follow-up. They had the secure of the Dragon fight and fumbled the follow-up. So, you know, first week of summer vacation, but he's gonna have to go take his final. And the rest of his friends are out playing, but he's got to fight Keen. And Keen gave him
inside here at the LCK.
Lucid is going to take this crab away. And, I mean, Showmaker has a little bit of control here in mid lane. They're going to look for something.
Yeah, Canyon stunned out of the wall. Little root over it as the flash comes in, and Canyon has to flash to the cone, and oh, the disengaged cone will get the flash out. Here's Chovy looking for the 1 kill on the Showmaker. Will get it with the auto, and now guess who's here? It's Keen. First from the top lane, and that is going to escort Lucid out.
It's another play here, though, for Dplus. Gwen with Grubs feels unstoppable in the side lane. She's fine without them, but, you know, I would have figured that would have been the angle.
Yeah. Gwen with Grubs, Jace with Grubs. Feels like both of those are extremely strong. Showmaker getting in there, blocked by a bunch of minions. Chovy was the one who was taking the aggressive trade and actually kind of lost it towards the end. So, kind of not happy with that.
They're going to push this top turret, and because Canyon's up there, they're like, okay, if Lucid's top, then we deal with this and push on the Jace. So it's kind of like top laners aren't allowed to play the game. We delayed the lane swap, but ultimately we still ended up with this. Lucid!
Oh boy, Chovy way too far up. He's going to try to flash, and Valkyrie, it's not going to happen. Lucid and Showmaker put it together. It's so difficult to get away from both Ryze and Sejuani if you don't have the cleanse. And now TP's coming in. Keen has done a huge amount of damage to both barrel and aiming already.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, Keen's just going to back away, but now we got Realm Warp coming in. Trying to get on top of him. Lucid here as well. Maybe a stun to come down, and under the turret, Shu just knocks him back with a flash. And it's another kill to DK.
Yeah, they end up making it work here. Now they're going to get a TP here out of Chovy into the bottom lane. Do they commit for another one? There's only a few minions here, but actually the next wave comes over. This could have been too much for Chovy.
Yeah, I mean, he's here very early, and now we have the bailout. Barrel is going to go down, but so does Chovy. I mean, Chovy got a kill, but so does Showmaker.
So my biggest concern for this play here for Dplus was not that they would end up losing people in the exchange or trying to dive too far. It was just that
with these grubs, we do have have Gen.G on them at the moment. It's just the two of them, though. And I feel like DK could absolutely fight for this if they wanted to, as now coming over is Duro. Gonna engage a bit on Lucid, but again, Lucid's pretty fed, as now we got a join from the side of Ruler. They want to take the fight, in they go, on to Lucid. He is just so dead, even an Impale utilized, and the collapse came in so quickly that DK could not really respond in time.
Follow up there and take that kill, so I think it was just a good play and outplay from Gen.G as Ruler flashed.
Yeah, he's flashing on that auto hit a minion. We'll see if they can still finish him off. They absolutely can. Meanwhile, down on the bottom side, DK get another kill. At least Duro will trade one back, but I think that kill over to the side of DK will be certainly more valuable.
Yeah, I think the kill went to Chemtech Soul to be much more valuable than the individual Chemtech Dragon. Like, Chemtech Soul, I think, has its place, and it is, in some cases, when you have like a Gwen, for example, I mean, damn, that's really powerful, but Chemtech Soul on its own, one single dragon, is kind of like, eh. It's one step to a soul, and it's Ocean Soul for Dplus. And Beryl, you know, he came up there, he was trying to just keep Showmaker safe and deny a dive. That was the best he could have done. Bought enough time. His aiming is now no cleanse.
Where's his barrel? Oh no! The flash heal! It doesn't help at all!
He tries to flash heal to close the gap, and now he's flashless.
Oh boy.
And Chovy does have flash.
Is this how it begins, Wolf? Is this how Gen.G's comeback starts again?
I've seen like plenty of fail flash plays from Beryl in my time. And I think that alone is not going to be enough. But maybe a Rift Herald take and a desperate attempt to deny it by Dplus could be. I think Dplus are just going to have to give this one up with no AD carry here. And
yeah. I mean, aiming was in a position, he saw the Kaisa, stayed around, doesn't have either summoner. And he doesn't even have his support.
Yeah, it's not okay. It's not, I'm not going to say it's the game-losing moment, but it's certainly a big window back into this game and full control now to Gen.G, who have the Herald. Duro is Leona.
Yeah, we're just running in the two of them before the team even gets there. This is not looking good for DK. Duro, though, is going to go down, and you know what? Keen at least is able to get the kill. The Impale is also going to miss, as now the stun of the wall, and she's in a lot of trouble. Goes down to Ruler's Q on the flash, as he's not able to get away. Canyon now just going to flash away himself. Showmaker makes his way over, but he's kind of alone as the one guy who can still do damage, and Gen.G are just able to sail away. And look at Chovy in the top lane, just farming it out.
Farming it out, trying to set up some deep vision, trying to see if he can catch anything here, any information, any control wards that are up there. Just goes back to...
We'll be having a large health pool, like the Gwen, the Skarner, the Leona. Not massive ones, but it feels still nice to get an Ocean Soul if you can do it. It's very good for controlling objectives and stuff like that.
Longer fights really good for Gwen, really good for Skarner.
It's going to drop a Rift Herald in their face. Hey, what are you going to do about this? We're going to take the fight now. Let's see the Impale is Canyon going to get in there. The Renata ult is pretty good, but he gets aiming. And first goes down Beryl, so the bailout not going to do anything. And Lucid also going to fall by the wayside. Shu and Cho making the two damage stealers. Just absolutely not able to do anything. And the follow-up is coming in. They still have the Kaisa ult here. And they get a fourth member as Gen.G just roll over DK in the fight.
A very decisive fight win here for Gen.G, and this starts to feel like the straw that breaks the camel that is Dplus's back. It's just so easy to clean up the turret from here, and then guess who's coming? You know, the long-range engage comes through from Ruler. Showmaker is able to at least realm warp away, but so much turret gold goes over. Showmaker will get at least one outer back in return here, and his Rod of Ages is completed.
All right, trying to collapse on a Keen, but he's got a lot of help now, and he has his needles available, so he is not killable. Now an ult going to come down on a Xiwu, and it's just getting worse for DK. They're getting caught in the side lane, trying to collapse onto a Gwen, who is in a very fed position. And, I mean, there's not even a Baron available, but it feels like Gen.G have Baron with the ability to just roll over these lanes.
Yeah. You know, from here, Showmaker just stays, like he gets the inner. That's a lot of money to arise. But I'm worried about what happens next when we start moving to point for Lucid.
Yep, Chovy's just clearing wards in the face of the enemy team. There's not really anything that they can do at this point in time. Just gonna burst this one down, and well, they gotta get in. The arrow's not gonna hit anything somehow, and they're just zoned away. Not gonna be able to do anything, and now the engage comes in from Gen.G. Getting onto aiming once again, who does have the bailout, but he's still getting just burned through it. It's not enough, and the wallets of Gen.G are just gigantic once again, and they should be able to take this game from here with the Runas Otacon. And they are insane lead 24 minutes in.
Yeah, forget your Rod of Ages, Petals. He has his escape, and he can get out. and they don't really have great engage outside of the ult from Lucid. So like Duro and Chovy are the right people, and Keen's on the flank, and this Baron is just gone. Lucid's in.
They're just throwing everything at it, and it's not going to be stolen. Nice try by Lucid. I don't even know how he got in there, but man, it just feels like the game is over from here. Keen doesn't have his ult anymore, but he's just snipping away at Showmaker's butt, and he will take him down. Meanwhile, she was bot. Never really found a reason to TP in there because the fight was just lost. Like, Ashe ult went in, Renata ult went in, and they just didn't do anything.
Yeah. I think this is the expected result, Valdez, for me as a 2-0 Predator. But with the game 1 that Dplus looked so good, and in game 2 there were certainly some moments. It looked like there was hope, but I think this is the end.
They're just smashing him now, as Xiu did at least come back to the base to participate in the last fight. But Gen.G 2-0, nothing to see here, actually, as there were some decent moments for